Hey guys, Jeremy from Critical Trigger here.
And today I'm bringing you a premium Cardfight Vanguard deck profile on Bermuda Triangle Highlander. This is going to be pre-Lyrical Melody. I haven't gotten the chance to pick up any cards yet, but I will be making a follow-up video discussing the cards you can actually add to upgrade this deck from both Lyrical Melody and from other sets as well. So, I think first thing we're going to start off with is the Great Threes deck. So I'm going to be playing Horse, Aneska. Great card for Highlander. Just generating you gifts, getting you an extra circle. Solid finisher for the deck. Just being able to give you around probably, I think, 11 attacks a turn with the ideal combo. You have Captivating Originality Gerlinda. She is really, really good ride target pretty much at any point in the game. She's almost always a +2. If you call like the Pearl Sisters or something, she's insane. It's really, really strong, and it's probably your best going second ride, as you still get benefit from riding her, and then you can stride after you get your +2. Perfect Performance Ange, one of your best going first ride targets. This card just gets you so many pluses. Like, this card makes your hand huge, lets you search Q-tiers from your deck, search whatever you need from your deck. Very, very good card. Gets you 2 force markers in your first turn. Just very, very good going first. You just ride up and you slap. So Velvet Voice Reindeer, another good going first ride target. She originally wasn't in the deck, but after some testing I decided to put her in. She's very strong. If you get a Nesca off of her, you're just like kind of popping off. You have like so many circles going first, and yeah, if you can get to your ride, or sorry, if you get to your stride, after you double a Nesca, it's like super duper insane. You also have some interesting ride targets off her, like Tirua. So Tirua, if you ride it off of Velvet Voice Reindeer, you get crazy pluses, and you get 3 Vanguard attacks on your first turn. She's just on place. Choose any player's rear guards, bounce them, and then if you bounce 3 rear guards, you get plus 15k. So usually you want to bounce your own rear guards, get some crazy pluses, and get more attacks. As if you bounce 3 rear guards this turn, she can restand. That's on rear guard as well. So she's also a multi-attack extender on your finishing turn. Happy to discard Lupina, another good going first ride target. Similar to Ange, getting you 2 force markers in 1 turn, getting you a free plus for Soul Blast 2, and then giving you some good pressure. Just 5 attacks for a counter blast. Solid. Can't really complain about that. The Light Genius Ange, here mostly for the Messiah and Chaos matchups. She's still at 1, but she's still pretty relevant. She can get you some really good pluses with cards like Q-tier, cards like, well, it's not really a plus if you use Betty, but she's just really good to recur your on-place effects. And then the true best card in this deck, Silver Singer Q-tier. This card searches your entire deck. Super insane card. Will like almost always get you a plus. There's a combo later that I'll kind of display with Aqua that pretty much always gets you some crazy pluses to your hand. Always the start of every combo. You see even 1 Q-tier, you're probably gonna have a good game. Just the best card in any Highlander deck. You need to play her. The reason I play 2 though is because once you see 1, you're already in true Highlander, and you want to see as many of these as you can. The cards that check for Highlander are only her and Betty. Oh, and Gerlinda. It's really the only cards that really check her. So if you see 1, then you're already hitting. I also play 2 Aqua, which also means that every time I call a Q-tier, I always call Aqua on my first Q-tier. And then Aqua bounces her back, and you have a combo. That's my grade 3. So in total, I'm playing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, 8 grade 3s, 1 grade 4. Pretty good. Stats are at the ratio. I pretty much see any one of these every game. Not very often I have G assist. And yeah, it's very solid. Alright. Next I'm going to go over my grade 2s. I'm going to be playing 10 grade 2s, starting with Top Idol Aqua. This card is really strong, but combined with cards like Coutier. So this card is very strong. Lets me recur on place effects like Lieselot, like Coutier, Betty, Sistico. It's really good. Nothing too much to say about her. Staple in every Bermuda Triangle deck. Gets me a bounce. She's a 15k attacker, pretty much every time, just by having a card in the same column as her. Also combos well with Shelko, Love, Heart, Lieselot. This plus this in the early game is really crazy. Getting to Lieselot more than once in the early game is just some crazy pluses. You get whole field for nothing. You just win the grade 2 game with these two. As you committed 2 cards from your hand, then you get 4. Crazy. Gift of Effort Shandy. This is the Harmony target for the Shandy Stride. Not really used for much else, but she is a very good card, getting you the draw 2 if you get a full board of Harmony. Pretty good. Can't really complain too much about her. It's just Harmony targets for anything relevant for Harmony. Interesting Hope Shiratsu. This is my counter charger for the deck, and the reason why I played the Shizuku starter. It's just Soul Charge or Soul Blast 1. Return a Shizuku from my soul to hand. If it's a grade 0, which is my starter, I get to counter charge Soul Charge. So it's a free counter charge. Attractive Glow Sandy. This additional G Guard Father. She counts as a G Guardian in hand, or a heal trigger in hand for the cost of calling G Guard. Good enough. I mean, she doesn't really accomplish much else in my deck. It's just being able to have 5 G-Guard fodder in the deck. That's something no other clan can do besides Bermuda. So, yeah, good card. Electric Essence Sistico. This card is usually if I take something as damage and I heal it out and I want to put it back in my deck, I use her. Say I take out like a Pearl Sister, and I put her back in, then I can search it later with Coutier. Her second ability is kind of relevant sometimes. If I return a grade 3 with her return back skill, they get stunned, they can't stand the next stand phase. It's kind of weird, I don't know why that's a thing in Bermuda, but it's come up sometimes. Against like Ichi-Tom and things like that. If they call up their Tom too early, I stun their Tom. And yeah, it's a good card. Pearl Sisters, Perla, one of the most important cards in the deck. Huge pressure card, swing 28k with crit. Base is really big, and you can always recur this with cards like Spica, cards like Kruk. You do need her sister, but getting both of them on the field at the same time, pretty easy with Coutier. Also, I guess I should go over Admired Sparkle Spica. She's my attack extender in the deck. It's counter +1 when it's boosted. Bounce a unit, call a unit from your hand. And more attacks. Bouncing back the Perla is pretty big. Usually I'm putting 2 force markers in the Perla, and I'm bouncing her back to swing for like 48s, which is crazy. And then one of the best grade 2 rides that doesn't do anything else is Multiple Shine Murata. Doing her and riding Interesting Hope Shiratsu is like pretty insane. Just getting a free plus to my hand for pretty much no resource investment. It's good enough. And then also calling down, also riding Lieselot as well is very good. Getting a draw and a free call, just good. Very solid. I was kind of hesitant on her at first, but I decided that she was pretty good, so I kept her in. That'll be it for my grade 2s. Alright, now for kind of expansive grade 1 list. 13 grade 1s. So, first thing is Ingenuous, Myrnal. This is... I only use her for her first effect, which is on place, reveal a normal unit from your hand, bot decade, and draw a card. So if I draw, well, just bricks that I don't want to draw right now, and I want to draw into things like Coutier or Aquas, things like that, I use her. Her second effect, I never use. It never comes up at all, unless I'm like on reindeer sometimes, but it doesn't really come up, but it's just there in case I need it. So Garland Blossom Aina. Aina is part of a very, very strong finishing combo with Coutier and Alk, which I will go over in the combo video, which I will be releasing shortly after this video comes out. So stay tuned for that, but just know she's a crazy combo extender. One place, you give another unit Harmony if she becomes in Harmony. And also, like, you can kind of also unrest her, give units in the column or row plus 5k, so you can get plus 5k across the front row or a back row, and then switch up to the forward. Yeah, just very good card. I was very hesitant on this card at first, but she's actually very strong. And obviously a Harmony target for Shandy. Special Message Aurora. Just a good card all around, letting me cycle cards from my hand. But I need to see combo pieces or things like that. Good for going first or second ride. Going second, I can just discard my quick shield, so she's literally just a draw 2. Yeah, not too much to say about that. Popple Empathy Betty. So this card is pretty strong. It's similar to Q-Tier, but it's only off the top 7. On place top 7, all Highlander, you can bot deck a card and add the rest to your hand, and add 1 to your hand. Not have the rest, that'd be insane. You can bot deck a quick shield to like just get a deck thin by 1. You can also bot deck the Overtrigger, which I am playing in this deck. Spoiler. I usually just use her to just find pieces. Just similar to these two. More used to find pieces, but I can actually recur her using cards like Aqua, or it's any bounce abilities that let me bounce her back to hand. So, Pearl Sister's Pearl, similar to her sister, the Grade 2. Very much needed for your finishing turn and any kind of aggression that you want to put on. 28k body that has a crit, strong multi-attacks in this deck. Solid. So, Cuddle Connect Vanessa. This card returns Great 3s to the bottom of my deck and puts herself in a soul and draws after she attacks or boosts. Again, another card that puts back targets from my waiting room. Sorry, waiting room. I've been playing too much whites. From my drop zone. Like cards like Chirua or Coutiers. Let's just put them back. Gets me a soul and a draw. Good card for resources and just combos. Mermaid Idol Sedna, 13k booster. Sometimes I can find a Coutier off her, which is insane, or just like fix my rides. Similar to her, superb new student Shizuku. Once again, just Harmony. When it becomes in Harmony, check top 5 for grade 3. Add a grade 3 to your hand. Good card. It's a true +1. They don't have to discard like you do with Sedna. I'm playing Honolly, so I can call Honolly down during the battle phase using a G-Guard. I use this against decks that attack me like a million times, like say Nova Grappler. Card just kind of blows out Nova Grappler completely. Rainier Steza lets me cycle once again. Sometimes I use her just to get my draw 2. And lets me put back grade 3s that I want back in my deck. Radka. Radka is a pretty good going first ride. Let me adjust my positioning of these cards. Radka is good for going first ride on hit draw card, but I mostly use her for her rear card ability. You just retire her, mill 2, add one of those milk cards to hand. Just, once again, similar to things like this. This is letting me get combo pieces. Very, very good. And then Anti-Parasol Annis. This will probably be replaced by a Lyrical Monasterio Perfect Guard. But she's here just as a decent ride target. She has the same effect as Aurora, but on Vanguard only. And just PG, I can search her whenever I want. And Miracle Twin-Tailed Wiz is my last great one. Another PG, but she's a Harmony PG. When this unit is in Harmony at the end of the turn, I can actually bounce her back. So even if I want to call her off of something like my Shandy Stride, if I put her in Harmony, I can always get her back by discarding one. And that will be my grade 1s. I think it's pretty standard. I don't think I'm running anything too crazy. Kind of deviating from standard Bermuda Triangle Highlander lists. I think it's pretty standard so far. I'm gonna go over my grade 0s. So, start off with my crits. So, 4 Stride crits, 1 Sentinel crits, 1 Layla, and 3 Ardels. Oh, Ardell, I rarely ever use her for her effect, but if she's ever called off of just like Lazelot or things like something like that, it's a good enough rear guard that I wouldn't replace her for really anything else. Sentinel crit, she's in here because 30k shield, being able to add more crits, and I can play a bunch of different trigger in this deck as well. Layla, you can search her off of Delight Genius if I want to just like make a column really big. It's pretty good. I used to not run her. I might bump her up in the future if I think this card will come up more. But so far, I've been satisfied. For my heals, I play 3v heals. 1 Melina. Melina's countercharge has come up in a couple of games. She lets me use my resources more on my first stride if I need to. Just draw a bunch of cards and then I can G-guard countercharge with her later. Truck, the attack extender for Bermuda Triangle, super free. Just end of the battle boost, bounce it, call it. This is your multi-attack extender. This is everything for your deck. Very, very strong card. It's at 1 for a reason, I think. But yeah. Then my last PG is draw PG, Glittery Baby Lene, self-explanatory, nothing much to explain. And then I'm playing the Cray Elemental over trigger. I think this over trigger is pretty good, although this will definitely get replaced by a Lyrical Monasterio over trigger. Again, I just haven't gotten a chance to get those cards yet. But this card's good enough. If you trigger it on your finishing turn, it's pretty GG. You just give your last 2 attackers plus 100 million. Very, very good. And it's an over trigger. You gotta play your over triggers in premium. Over triggers are OP. And then for my normal units, first Lesson Akari, one of the best combo extenders in the deck, letting you just recur your Coutier even more. Very, very good card. Actually insane. If I could play more of her, I would, but I don't want to. Who knows? I might end up bumping her up. And then, of course, the Bermuda Triangle Cadet Shizuku. It's a B starter, lets me draw 2 going second. A target for Shiratsu to return back to my hand, 10k shield. I have considered playing the Forerunner version of her, and if I feel like I am still having trouble getting my grade 3s to my hand, I can play her. that is a consideration that some people do want. But I think you definitely do need to be playing Akari. Akari is insane. And that's it for my grade zeros. I'll move on to my G zone. Okay, so for my G zone, I'm playing Lucky Rise Alprina. So, a lot of people think that Bermuda Triangle has a really weak first stride. I think Alprina is an amazing first stride. I'm going to show you in a combo in the combo video that I will be releasing that Alprina is very, very strong, but as long as you see Coutier. If you don't see a Coutier, then your first stride will most likely be Shandy instead. But very strong. Soul Blast 1, Bounce 2, getting you recursions on your Coutiers, anything like that. Amazing card. Then Shandy. Nothing too much to say about this stride that hasn't been said. Counter Blast 1. Call cards equal to the number of cards you have in Melody, in Harmony this turn. Strong. If you manage to get a full board Harmony, she gets crit for every face-up card in your G-Zone. So, like, your opponent literally has to PG this. They can't take it if you manage to get 6 Harmony. She can actually also be used as a finisher. I have yet to really do that yet in testing, as I mostly kill my opponent on my Alk turns, but Shandy is a very, very strong stride. And there's completely nothing wrong with playing her, in my opinion. For Alk, so some people call this deck Highlander for a reason. She is your best stride in this deck. She's a Harmony unit, so you can trigger, so it lets you trigger off cards with Harmony. She gives plus 5k to units that are in Harmony, so plus 10 to a column, pretty much adding an additional force marker. She's a multi-attacker. She lets you recur your board back to your hand by bouncing it all. What a stride. Like, actually insane. You could even go into this first stride if you wanted to. I think that's how good she is. But you do need a pretty set up hand to make the best use of it. Perfect performance and stride this time. This is mostly used for Mega Colony and Link Joker matchups, as this plays around lock. Since you're not choosing the rear guard, you're choosing the circles, and then you're bouncing them. This is kind of a more expensive late game Alprina. You get some crazy pluses with this card. Sometimes I just go into her instead of Alk if I don't necessarily have all my pieces. I stride Ange, get some huge pluses back to my hand, swing at my opponent's Vanguard for like 70k or something like that. Very, very good card. And I was playing her at 1, but I decided to bump her up to 2 because I played against Chaos one time and I got locked out like 2 turns in a row after I used my Ange. So I definitely needed to bump it up to 2, and I am perfectly satisfied with playing 2 Ange right now. Chocho popular favorite Tirua. This card is not as good as it once was. So the reason why this card was so good is you could restand your Chua twice. So you get so many attacks as long as you have Riviera Vanguard and you strut the Tirua. But Tirua is still very strong. She's just a free restand, gets huge. You can play some cards that will let you multi-attack as well. But I'll go over that in my next video regarding replacements that you want to add. But Tirua, still very strong. I don't count her out yet. She's completely free. You don't have to use any counter blast at all for her. All you need is GB3. And yeah, huge restander. Sometimes it can just like win me games. If I have like enough damage on my opponent. So my G-Guards, Citron. This card is the card that I use to call Honley in battle phase. I can also use to call Coutier. Use to call Coutier out so I can add cards to my hand during my opponent's battle phase. Same with Betty. Just letting me get pluses in my hand and give me the cards I need to defend. Sandy. I would play 2 of these, but I currently only really need 1. She's like my big power G-Guard. Gets plus 5k for every 2 cards in my hand, and Bermuda Triangle always has like 1,000,000 cards in their hand. So she's often very, very huge. Like I think I've gotten her to like 50k before. And then Counterblast 1, add additional 5k. Get a really, really strong G-Guard. Hand-to-hand Leona. This lets me bounce back rear guards on my opponent's battle phase. So if they choose to attack a rear guard, I can call Leona and bounce back the rear guard that they're attacking. I use this to recurve coutiers, to add pieces back to my hand. Strong G-Guard. Nothing too much else to say. Just solid. It's not too OP, it's not too, but it's also not bad. Ractome and Colburn. Ractome, I use it to cycle my hand. If I have dead cards in hand that I don't need and I'm trying to draw into a piece, I use Ractome. Colburn, if my opponent is attacking me and they have 1,000,000 cards in their hand. So other cards that draw a lot, like Force or even the Mirror, Colburn is very, very useful. And yeah, that's gonna be it for my G-Zone. So overall, I think this deck is very, very strong. The only thing that I am worried about with this deck is how long the turns actually take. You take very, very long turns, which is concerning, as online, you're definitely gonna have to go into time. That's just the nature of the deck. Unfortunately, like, I don't want to play a deck that, like, that has to play around time rules, but this deck, unfortunately, will end up going into time a lot, just due to the nature of how many times you're going to search your deck, how many times you're going to have to call a name, things like that. But, when it's working at its best, this deck is extremely strong, reliably kills people on second stride with, like, an almost unlivable 11 attack turn, I believe, which I'll showcase later. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the combo video and just overall me going into in-depth about my card choices and other cards you can play in the deck as well. So anyways, if you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be pumping out a lot of content in the next few weeks or so.